Hey Chapel Kids, we are making a craft. My name is Addie.
How old are you, Addie?
I am 7.
7, and I'm Laura. Our craft is going to be sending a hug. So this is what we made already. We made one so that you could see what it looks like. High five. Yeah, nice. So there's a few things that you're going to need. There's some construction paper. You can use any kind of paper. You can use scrapbook paper. Basically paper. You'll need some glue or tape. You can use ribbon for the hug, or as we made here, you can use the paper. So we're also going to need scissors and a tracing pencil or pen, or some crayons to color, that kind of thing. So Addie, what kind of color do you want?
I want a red one.
All right, so go ahead. So the first thing that we're going to do is to fold our paper in half. You can fold it this way, or nope, you should really fold it this way. And one of the reasons we fold it this way is because we're going to trace our hand. And so we don't have to cut out 2 hands or trace 2 hands. We only have to trace 1. So if we trace our hand this way, do you want to use a pencil or the pen?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I do your hand?
No, let's do your hand. We'll send a hug for you to somebody. Who do you think you want to send a hug to, Addie Joe?
Can I think about it?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you later, and you got to have an answer, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here is Addie's hand. Do you want to hold it up, Addie Joe? So Addie has her hand traced. We were able to trace it. She's going to go ahead and cut. While she traces her hand, I have a hand that I already started to trace out, and I will cut it out. So as you're cutting and tracing hands, just make sure you're careful. You're only cutting paper. We don't need to cut anything else. It's not safe. Only paper. Addie, do you think you are going to want to use orange or purple strips this time, or do you want to use the combination or just one color?
This time, can we do purple?
Yeah, we can. So how this works is I just took a full sheet of our construction paper here, and I just cut them into 1-inch strips. I have a paper cutter that I use, but you can use scissors to cut them into strips. The thought is with this is you're measuring the span of fingertip to fingertip or wrist to wrist, whatever you want to do. But the thought is you're making this width, or this length actually, is going to be the length of a hug for your hands. So Addie, I'm going to start gluing some of these together while you're cutting. And you said purple.
Yeah.
So if you want to use paper, you just have these strips that you're going to...
That looks like blue.
It looks like blue, but I promise it's purple.
Okay.
So if you're going to use paper, then you're just going to glue 1 strip to the next. It's pretty easy. I normally just glue square because it's easier that way. And how I make sure I'm gluing the right amount is I just fold it over the edge. So it's the right amount there. It's pretty simple. So then you take your glue it up. Ooh. All right, and then you just glue it on. You want to actually glue it on the same way. So you're making a line essentially with the paper. If you're not going to use paper and you're going to use a ribbon or something in between, which is a little easier, actually a lot easier, then you'll probably have to, with your hands, I don't have a hand, so I'll use one of the other hands. But with your hands, you're going to probably have to tape it so it stays, or use a heavier duty glue than what I have. So there it is. Well done. So if we were going to use this, you would just glue it on that end and then take and glue the other end. And you could do it that way, or we're going to continue doing it with the paper because the paper is a little harder, right, Addie?
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna slide our
Need
ribbon out.
one more strip.
How many strips do we need?
One.
Oh, here, let me quick while you're done cutting. Let's take and measure.
No more.
So we already measured it, so we know that you have to have 3 strips. So let's go ahead and glue the strips.
One more strip.
You need 3 total, right? Is that what we used?
Yep. And you got 1, 2,
3.
3. This.
Alright, let's measure it just to make sure. Hold your arms out. And then it's from wrist to wrist. Let's actually add one more because we're a little short. So we can always trim it down so that it fits a little better, right, Addie?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's quick do it this way.
And see.
Alright. Ready?
Yep.
Alright, you're gonna have to kind of lay it down. We'll kind of don't reach. Oops, it unglued. Alright, there. I'll take the scissors and trim it. Alright, let go. So what's really fun about this craft is it's actually fun to see how big your kids have gotten from one year to the next. One of the ways that makes this fun to do is also to fold the paper in little squares. Addie, if you want to start on that end and we'll kind of meet in the middle.
I don't think that's going to work.
Well, just try it. We'll try it. So what's kind of fun with this in folding it is you're making a little Z, essentially, or a W, depending on how you look at it, W, and M. But you're folding it back and forth, back and forth. You're making a little zigzag out of it. So after we're done, let's pretend that I folded this all the way, right, Addie? Can we pretend? All right, so here's our hands. We're going to take our hand. Addie, you want to do one end and I'll do the other? We're going to take, Addie, as I do it here. As I explain it, you do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand that you just traced and cut out, and you're going to take the one end of your paper strip and just glue it on to each other. So it's going to end up looking like this. When it's all done, it will look like this. It's pretty cute. So Addie, as she's gluing, she already did one to use as our tester. And Addie wrote hers to her teacher, her first grade teacher. So we're going to see if we can drop it off at the school to get it to the teacher. But Addie, I asked you earlier, who is somebody you're thinking you want to send a hug to?
Yeah.
To a friend. You're going to send it to a friend. All right, that's perfect. That's a good idea. You can send it to a friend that you miss. You can send it to a family member, like a cousin that you miss, maybe a grandparent. Addie, what is one thing that's hard about this craft? The cutting?
It's mostly, kind of like,
Or is it a pretty easy craft?
it's kind of like an easy and a hard.
Yeah.
The hard thing is about this is the people, like, who choose someone is like,
Oh, it's hard choosing who to send a hug to.
no, it's basically like who actually needs a hug.
Oh.
And we don't know though.
Oh, yeah. You don't know who needs a hug, but it's good to send a hug to anyone.
So it's hard.
So it's hard to choose. Well, we're almost done with our paper folding, and I think that's all we have. You want to keep going, or do you want to finish?
Keep going.
All right. Have fun creating and sending a hug. Thanks.
Bye.